Hi, everybody. It's Haley Hobson, and I am super excited today to have one of my very good friends and momtrepreneur on with me today. Her name is Rachel Feldman, and I met Rachel a few years ago. We both went through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and we met online, and we've been friends and buddies ever since. And like I said, I'm super excited to have her on with me today because I feel like we've both seen each other grow from this place that we were just starting our businesses to becoming these like rock star maniacs in our business now. And we've both been crying together and laughing together and sharing all of these awesome moments together. So welcome, Rachel. Super glad you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, when you and I were just even talking about, the goal of this, I think that it's so important for women and moms who are business owners to hear from other moms who are doing this, that one, it's possible, but two, like what really happens behind the closed doors. Exactly. So it's a complete honor to be here and I'm excited.
Yeah, and I think that what the purpose I shared with you, the purpose of doing this was to really show other women that it is totally possible to be moms and still have not just a business, but a rock star business if they want to. And I feel like you and I have led this parallel life over the last couple of years, and we've had a lot of the same aha moments. We've had a lot of the same, oh my God, I'm going to kill myself moments. And we're both raising kids, and I'm so glad you're here so that you can tell your story. So would you mind telling people where you've been over the last 10 or 15 years and where you are now, and let them hear from you?
I think, and I've always said this to people, for me, I was always attracted to not working for somebody else. And so that led me into getting involved into commercial real estate. So even from day one in my career, I owned a business. And that meant having to put myself out there. And I think no matter what business, you have to sell yourself. If you're a lawyer or if you're an architect or if you're a hairdresser, you're in the sales of, selling yourself. But I loved being able to make my own hours. The thing is, when you're making your own hours and you have your own business, you're really working a lot. But it was something that I desired. And so I got into commercial real estate many years ago and built a successful business, very successful, because one, I just had that drive. And I think that certain people either have that drive, they have that internal drive that they want to succeed, they want to be good at what they do, they want to be of service to people. That was a huge thing for me. Like even in commercial real estate, people would say, God, Rach, I really just love dealing with you because I know you're not going to screw me over. And I work for this huge national company, and I think I was like 2 of 80 guys in this boiler room setting. But I operated my business with that philosophy that, I was.
Just back up for a second. When did you get into commercial real estate, and were you already a mom at that point?
So I will be 40 in 2 weeks, and I wasn't a mom. It was like a few years right before I was a mom. So that was the beginning of me understanding though a business. And when I was in commercial real estate, though, I did get pregnant with my first child. And, sat there and thought what I'm sure every mom goes through, like, do I leave my business, something I've built, worked really hard because I built a 6-figure business at that time. I worked my tail off to build a business, got into my office before every other guy, woke up at 4:30 in the morning, knew I had to bust my butt, and was really proud of it, and didn't want to walk away from something that I had really built.
And what did you do? Did you walk away, or did you find something else?
Away. And I'll tell you this, and I think this is really important for women because I think this is something we struggle with. I was like, oh, I should leave my job, and because that's what women do, and I should stay at home. And I remember turning to my husband, and my son was 3 weeks old, and I said to I said to my job, I was like, okay, I'm going to work from home for a little. And I was like starting to itch my skin. And yet I'm a very like mothering, maternal, mama bear. Like, I was like, nobody's holding my kid. This is, nobody touched my kid. I'm like that kind of mama. But at the same time, I had that. And I also had, I need to close deals. Like I need to have my business.
It's in your blood. It's in your blood to be a businesswoman.
It's in my blood to be a businesswoman. It's in my blood to build, to create, to work with people. And I need to have that. And I knew if I didn't have that, there was a part of me that was going to be lost. And so, with the birth of my second child, I did say, you know what, when I back up from real estate, I left real estate, and this part of me felt very vacant. And it was at the time, though, that I said to my husband, I am going to go. I've always wanted to go to school for nutrition. I had my own health issues that took me in and out of specialists, hospitals, a whole myriad of different health issues that we could talk about that for a long time. And I said, you know what? Screw this. One day and that was even in real estate, when I actually got really sick, I said, one day I'm going to be a health coach. I'm going to go somewhere and I'm going to figure out how to help people similar to myself. And so I decided to go off to nutrition school. And at the same time that the stock market crashed, we lost all our savings. And I remember saying to my husband, okay, just took a year off from real estate. What do I do? Do I go back, because I knew I could go back to the same company, or do I go and pursue my dream? And this was a pivotal point because I remember saying, okay, we were really smart. We paid off our home, but all our other savings was gone. So he turned to me and he was like, what's your gut? And I said, I know I can do this. I know I can build this in the same way. And so from the start of not knowing how to, build a wellness business, and I'm sure it's, I kind of thought this has to be like any other business. I built this other business, not knowing technology, not knowing anything, just putting one foot in front of the other. I built this same business with those very principles. Now, was it easy? No. Where there are a lot of times, and I tell people this all the time, where there are times where there was sacrifice. Hell yeah. I built it, I always say I built this business with 2 babies on the floor. And, where there are a lot of times where I thought, how can I figure out to do an autoresponder or MailChimp or all this different stuff that has encompassed my business to where it is today. But it got me to not only building a business into where it is and growing constantly, but because I didn't have people there to be able to help in the beginning, I was almost like the line cook, the sous chef, the frontline person. I knew every in and out of my business.
So I think that's a really good point that you're bringing up, because I think that, I'm in a business also where some people really rely on other people for all of their support. They rely on them to do everything. And when I look at the top income earners, the top leaders in my industry, they're the people who went out there and they did it themselves, just like you did it. And I also, like you, I walked away from a 6-figure income to restart a new business. And it sounds to me like you walked away from a 6-figure income to start a new business, starting from ground zero. And here you now are making a 6-figure business again. So how long did it take you to jump up to that same income level, or almost at that same income level that you were at before?
I think there's actually a few points to this. I think number one, it took me actually figuring out a system, because I think, I'm not a system kind of person. And I think it's so huge. I think that's what I admire. Like you and I have talked about this before. I think that's something that you do so well. And I think it's huge for people. Like for me, I was, very fortunate that I had a compelling story. So for people with my own story, they were like, wow, she has an autoimmune. She's had digestive issues. Like, she's gone to every doctor. So a lot of people found me because of that story. But, you know, I think as far as building a business, no matter what business you're in, I do think there's the growing pains of that first year. I was like, oh my
Yeah, it
God,
takes at least a
seriously?
year, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
was
takes
like,
at least a year to figure it out.
I was like, wait, what? Am I really making like 12 grand?
Right.
14
But let me ask you something, because a lot of people have that problem. I was actually talking to somebody today and she said to me, Haley, I don't know if I'm ready to start your business yet until I make a little bit of money. And I was like, wait a minute, we're doing this all backwards. Aren't you jumping into my business with me so I can help you make money? And I think what a lot of people don't realize is that you have to let go and close the door in order to let another door open and an opportunity come about. And
100%.
you have to walk away from a paycheck sometimes, and you have to walk into uncomfortableness and fear
100%.
and stress, sometimes anxiety, babies on the floor, getting up at 4:30 in the morning, going to bed at midnight, eating, maybe not you, but eating potato chips for dinner.
No, I
and,
mean,
and those
it
things are going
happens
to
for
happen.
everyone. I
Yeah.
mean, and this is the thing that I want to bring up about that first year. The difference between people who I see who are successful, whether it's whatever is the monetary value, they didn't quit.
Right.
Because if I would have quit year one, or when I had 3 people show up for a teleclass, I wouldn't have a business. I didn't quit year one. And at about year and a half, like 1.5 years, I was like, okay, I'm starting to figure out the system. I'm putting this into place. I started to watch trends, and I started to get smart about how I was doing business, because I was like, wait, I'm a mom. I'm exhausted. I was literally handing off my kids to my husband. I was booked solid with clients all night, and I was like, I can't handle this. What do I need to change? And I think that's the biggest key with business. It's like, if something's not working, don't just scrap it. Look at it and see what needs to change. And that was at the point that I said, I need a passive income in addition to seeing clients every day, because I have kids and I can't handle high maintenance clients like myself who needed a lot of, you know, support. Not just like, hey, I want to add superfoods and chia seeds. It's all cool. Like, you know, I was seeing people who really needed a lot of support. So I really started figuring out, what do I need to add in? And that was like the birth of the Done For You programs. That was the birth of, you know, helping, because I started to see needs that needed to be met. And so I think in any business, as a smart business owner, you start to see in your own business, because that's what I saw. What do I need in my own business? I needed a system for my clients. I created a cleanse and elimination diet, because everyone was coming to me with all these different health issues, and I was scared chasing symptoms left and right. So I created a system for them. Then I replicated that system and started selling it to other coaches, because they were like, how did your business go from 0 to 10? And that's exactly what happened. And so when you ask me what, you know, how long did it take? The moment I figured out a system and realized it could be replicated is when my business went from 0 to 10. And the moment that I stepped into that power and was like, oh, okay, this can not only be replicated, but I can get into this like rinse and spin cycle in my own business. It didn't mean that I wasn't in the fetal position, you know, at different times of growth, or eating potato chips despite being a detox specialist, because that's just how stuff rolls when you're PMSing, or stuff happens in life, or you know, nothing's in the fridge because you just didn't plan, because that's human nature, you know. That's when business took off. And then once business takes off, you just get exposure, you get visibility. And that's why I tell people, it's like, don't quit before that miracle happens.
So let's back up for a second, though. What I want to talk about with you is, I feel like a big issue that a lot of women have is actually the overwhelming getting started, not even so much of the, oh my gosh, I'm so big, how do I manage kind of thing. So if you had to give like a tip or 2 or 3 tips to women who are some type of inspiration, who are sitting there, they've got their babies on the floor, they've got toddlers running around, and they're like, I can't do anything but change diapers, go grocery shopping, and I've got an hour while they nap. What would you say?
And it's interesting because I've been asked this like 400 times. I do the same thing today that I did day one because I didn't have money for a website, didn't have money for a health coach, didn't have money for a business coach, didn't have anything. So the same exact thing I do today is what I did day one. Number one, you have to get on social media. If you say, well, I don't know it, I'm uncomfortable, it doesn't matter. Get comfortable. Like, you have to sit there and find one avenue, especially as being a mom. We had just moved from Philadelphia to Florida. I knew nobody. So I knew that I had to start getting online and figuring out how to meet people because I knew nobody in my community. And I had kids. I had small, young kids. So figure out literally how you can start, whether it's Facebook. And don't waste your time. A lot of people do this. Some people are great at building a Facebook business page. Some people get 15,000 people. If you're spending all this energy on a Facebook business page and it's not getting you conversions, it's not getting people to opt into a free offer, do not spend time there. Spend time on your personal page. Let people get to know you and actually showcase whatever you're doing, whether you're a health coach, whether you're selling something else, whatever you're offering. Let people actually know that you're doing that and stop posting a picture of your dog. And I'm not saying I don't like dogs, but I tell people, like, if nobody knows what you're doing, how are they going to actually know to come to you? That's number one. Number two is, these days, you can start so simple with a basic website. Weebly. I mean, you can create a Weebly website by yourself with a simple 1, 2, 3 free. You need to have a home for people to go and see what you're doing. So I always say ground zero, visibility, a website, and then really being able to offer somebody something free. People aren't just going to sign up like, hey, sign up for my newsletter. They hear the word spam. That's what I hear. Like, sign up for my newsletter. So whether you want to give them something, if you're in real estate, give them a great, I'm going to offer you 3 tips on how to buy a home or how to, convert a condo, or if you're in some other business, give them something for free that they can opt in, whether it's on Facebook or a website, because those people, you have to start building trust. And I think when I think ground up business, it's really about building trust. Nobody wants to hire you unless they feel like you're the real deal.
So what would you say to those people who want to get out there and build their Facebook page and want to get out there and do a website and want to get out there and create a freebie and are like, oh my God, I have no time to do it?
Yeah.
Because I think, to me, like, I feel like that's a mindset issue, because time is what we make it time. Like, we can create as much drama as we want in our life, and we can make ourselves crazy. And believe me, I am awesome at making myself crazy. Right. I am awesome at getting super fired up that nothing is working right in my environment, and that I can call me the poor me. Haley's so busy. Her kids and her husband and her dogs are all driving her nuts. Or you can shut the door and you can give them organic gummy bears sometimes and maybe have them watch a cartoon, and you can set up your business page, right?
Look, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not sitting here being like, I got it all effing figured out, and it's all cool in the school, and I'm all down, and I don't walk around with bags under my eyes sometimes, and my hair is dry. I'm not saying that I've got this all figured out, but what I will tell you is a lot of us say we don't have time, but we sit there for 30, 40 minutes in fear zone instead of sitting there and saying, like, I've actually taken a clock and I put a clock there and I say, you are actually going to take 30, 40 minutes and do this, or don't go to get your nails done for that 30, 40 minutes. And I know somebody might say, that sounds ridiculous, but it's like, there has to be a sacrifice. We have 86,400 seconds in a day. So if you think about what 30 minutes per day, 30 minutes And for most of us, it is having to wake up before our kids. I wake up an hour before my children wake up because, one, I need that time. I need that time to have quiet. I need that time. It's the time that I focus the best, and I make sure that I do it. And when I don't, I actually feel anxiety because I haven't gotten time to set my day.
Yeah, I do the same thing. You get my emails at 6 o'clock in the morning, at midnight, get it, set working after our kids go to bed. There's also some great tips that we can give moms too. Like what about getting one of these, right? You wear it around your neck, you put your earbuds in, and then you can talk on the phone and multitask all day long, right?
I mean, the thing is, I think everyone in this world right now is in a time crunch. I just taught actually today at a gym, and everyone was saying, I don't have time to prepare foods. And I'm like, look, it's about choice. It really is. Time. It's about choice. If you want to build a business and you want to have success, and that's important to you, we will find the time.
Right.
And sometimes it is true. I actually said to my daughter today, I said, Mommy has to work. And she was like, oh, it's a Sunday. And I was like, yep, Mommy has to work. And, and my kids know that there are times that I have to set aside time to work. And I try to do it to the best of my ability. But no matter what, when they were little, I made sure that I was working. There were times that I was working after they went to bed. I was editing on a website. I was exhausted. But I sacrificed that time because that was what was important to me.
Right, and now you have the freedom and the flexibility to do other things. Like I'm in the same boat as you. I mean, today's a Sunday, and I worked all day today. I did a 5-hour video shoot. I'm here working with you. I've got some other interviews I'm doing. But tomorrow or the next day, I'm going on a 2-week vacation, basically. And my kids know that they're going to have a lot more time with me during that time, even though they didn't have their Sunday with me. So it's all about priorities. And I'm not saying that working your butt off has to be your priority, right? Your priority is your priority. All I'm here to do and invite you guys here to do is to tell people that if they want it, it can be possible. And renegotiating relationships with your partner, or times that you guys can take this or take that, or working extra overtime while kids are napping or sleeping or getting up in the morning, or maybe not going on that play date with the kids and with the mamas, but staying home and working and focusing on your business could be worth it if that's a priority to you in the long run.
And I think the biggest thing that I've always realized is, I even think about Facebook. I even think about Instagram. I think about Pinterest. I think about all these places that a lot of people, we spend time. We're like, on our iPhone, we're doing little things. But if we really sit there and schedule time and say, I am committing, and take out a whiteboard, as any business owner does, take out a whiteboard, take out a schedule, and actually schedule an appointment, no matter whether you just birthed, because I went through nutrition school when my little one was 6 months. And I remember, going through modules in between when she was napping. I found the time to do it. I remember, even when she was just born, knowing I have to exercise in the morning, otherwise I'm psycho. Because otherwise I've got negative Nelly, chatty Kathy, da, 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 da. So it's there's certain things that I know I need to do, so I have to schedule them. So if I know that I need to, build or launch something, I have to schedule that in my time. So when I say to people about building a business, often it's really saying, okay, can you chunk out 30 minutes to tackle one task? And that one task may be building that business page, or that one task may be posting on Facebook for 5 minutes in the morning, or it may be blog posting 10 minutes on one day and then sharing that in 5 different places from that one blog post. It's working your day like a pro.
Right. That's exactly it.
Getting a system. And I think that's the biggest thing as a mom. It's really, as women, we have to think about our family. We have to think about our kids. We have to think about ourselves. We have to think about our business. But it is possible. And and I always say, it's possible also when you reach out and realize that there are other women doing this.
Right. And the thing is that I think that we're so used to this idea that our work day is, from 9 to 5, or with moms from 9 to 3. And really what we need to understand as women is that old vision or idea of what the workday is over. Throw it away. Your workday is whenever you can carve out time. And I'll tell you something, from the time I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning until the time that I go to bed at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, I am able to carve out 8 hours in a day. It's just, it's all over the place, all over the day. And if I'm working from, 6 to 8 before my kids go to school, and then 8 to 10 o'clock at night, that's 4 hours during the day that are not even during my standard traditional work day. But then if I get the 4 hours done while they're at school, I feel like I've accomplished a lot that day. So it's kind of like thinking out of the box, and just like you said, working it like a pro. This is your business. And if you want to have it and you want to have kids, guess what? You can. But you got to start thinking like a pro and working it like a pro.
And even, and not that I think I saw the interview with the woman Lean In, and not that I think she has everyone's life. She doesn't have, I think a lot of people necessarily couldn't relate to that book with how she was explaining life. But what I got from it was, if you do have a partner, if you do have, a family member, reaching out and saying, you know what, I really need you to help with the laundry, because that laundry time that I'm folding could be 30 minutes that I'm either on a phone call, 30 minutes that I'm dedicating to my business, 30 minutes that I need to take to handle some tasks in my office. And I think it's really sitting there and saying, what do I need help with? And just like you said, calling on your partner. And if you are doing this alone with very young children, really being smart with your time. I think that's what it comes down to. We have a lot of time. We just often have that mindset. I don't have time. I don't have time. I feel overwhelmed. I feel overwhelmed. But if you just step back and say, you know what? I can either have this emotion run me, or I can run my day like a machine, because I'm a freaking woman and I birth, and I birth. So I can birth a freaking awesome business and run it like that. And yes, like I said, it doesn't mean that sometimes potato chips are not eaten, and a crap load of chocolate or too much coffee, or you're stressed, or maybe, especially as a business owner, that things don't exactly always happen the way that you planned them. That's being a business owner. But the beauty of being a business owner is you blossom things, you birth them, you work with awesome people, and you learn parts about yourself that you could never learn in any book, any school, any self-help book, anything. You will learn parts of yourself that are unimaginable, and that's the greatest gift as well.
Yeah. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for sharing your time with me and with everybody that's listening to this interview today. I know that you're a super busy woman, and you don't even barely have enough time for your own business and your kids. So thank you for being here with us. I really appreciate it. And I know that everyone else is very grateful too. Will you tell everyone where they can find you?
Yeah, so you can find everything that I pretty much do at www.rachelswellness.com. You can also find me on Facebook at Rachel's Wellness, all the different social media avenues, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter. And yeah, if you ever have any questions, you can always contact me for a 15-minute consultation. They're free. I'm always here to answer questions, business-related, health-related. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Kelly, for having me today.
Thank you, Rachel. Thanks so much.